New videos every day.
The first time we had ever sat down and boiled up some crickets, this is just an old picture. It was me and my daughter and a little friend of hers, and we got these goofy, wild-eyed looks on our faces that we were eating our first crickets about maybe 6 or 7 years ago. And I started noticing that once my body had that registered in there, especially if I had ever eaten these when I was hungry. I hope you came out here hungry today. When I ate them with a good appetite, that thing would get triggered and I knew I ate something good. The next time I'm in the garden, I'm out there gardening hungry, and a grasshopper lands next to me. It's in our DNA, and we are expert insect catchers. I see this grasshopper land and I just automatically snap, lock in, I'm ready to nail the little thing. And every now and then, if I see one of these, like somebody had pulled out one of these little green, tender grasshoppers just molted. I just eat them off the leaves, just because they're there sometimes. It's usually recommended that you don't eat insects raw in the wild unless you're in a survival situation. Now, people have been eating insects raw in the wild for tens, hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of years. Our immune systems are maybe not what they could be because we don't expose ourselves to that stuff as children. We tell our children, don't eat that, don't get that in your mouth, that's dirty, this and that. And they don't get those little mild digestive upsets or maybe a case of diarrhea that kicks that antibody in for them, maybe for the rest of their life. So we live kind of in a sterile environment where if we're not exposed to that stuff all the time, you might not want to eat raw insects. If you're somebody that's just out and about and you don't worry about that stuff so much, and people tell you to wash your glass before you drink out of it again, you don't worry about, you probably might be okay with raw bugs. There are allergies to insects. They're in the lobster, the shrimp, and shellfish family. But particularly the ones with all the segmented legs, things that turn orange when you throw them in the water to boil, to eat. Grasshoppers turn orange in the water just like the lobsters do. If you're allergic to seafood like that, the chitin in their shells, the hard plasticky exoskeleton, I'm sorry, you wouldn't want to eat today at all because you would have an allergic reaction to this. They recommend if you're allergic to dust and chocolate. Go figure. It might not be recommended to eat insects. So as far as toxins, poisons, and venoms go, there are some insects out there that they say may be carcinogenic. There are some insects that carry things that are meant to make birds sick. Have you ever smelled a ladybug or pinched a lightning bug? And have you ever tasted a lightning bug? It's like you ate some kind of some kind of a plastic poison or something from the chemical plant. But you kind of get an inkling that, yeah, that's not a good thing to eat. Now there are, out of the all these different families of insects all over the world, nobody knows all of what's edible. In one part of the world, they'll focus on water bugs and water beetles and scorpions. Down in Mexico, it's mostly grasshoppers and crickets. In another part of the world, it's going to be these various large larvae that are collected. So here in the Western world, it's been kind of new, and so there have been kind of listed about 12 to 1,400 ones that we know are edible. And those all exist mostly in the families of bees and wasps, crickets, spiders, and the scorpions, even though those are not insects. I may need to pull out a book if you really would like to go over which families they are right now. But since we're dealing mostly with wasps and crickets and grasshoppers, scorpions, all the dragonflies and all the things in there. This little guy here is some kind of a little dragonfly something or other. But I can tell he's, somewhere between a dragonfly and a fly, so I'm going to be good with him. There's a recipe that I was reading about in one of these books that had dung beetles. Okay? June bugs aren't out yet. Sorry, it's dung beetles. But anyways, they camp out under logs. I don't think they're under these logs eating dung. I don't know what they're doing, rolling their little balls of dung whenever they roll those around. The larvae that come out of logs, when you break open a log, you see those tunnels going through there, and you find these various white, yellow, tan, brown, black, all these segmented looking larvae in there. Those are all various kinds of beetles and borers. All of these beetles and borers are good to eat. And most of them are usually eaten in their larval stage. So, nobody likes me, or should I say everybody likes me, and so they're all going to feed me worms, okay? Because the larvae are the best. I was out chopping through some wood. I put this guy in here with a scorpion. That's not a good idea. But I was out chopping through some woods, and out of 20 minutes of looking around with my axe, I felt lucky to find one big fat, some kind of a beetle or borer larva. But these little fellows, they may seem like really kind of gross and juicy, and you think worms popping in your mouth and like that. It's more like hard boiling an egg. When you take one of these gooey things in there and all these fats and proteins, they all solidify together, and you end up with a little, some of them are textured like a well-crisped piece of bacon fat, where you're chewing through some good rich fats and oils and proteins. So it's not like a gooey, poppy, runny kind of an experience eating these things. As far as the internal organs and the innards and what have they eaten, it's great if you can have them around in a jar for a day to let all their little dookies get out of them. You can see them falling around in there. And that's usually what's recommended for white people in America. Okay, indigenous peoples in America that are eating their insects, they're not going to have any concern over, other than, wow, that one tasted like a tomato plant, and it actually this stuff all gets built into there. These compounds get built into their oils. These bugs are what they eat. So if somebody asks me, what does a grasshopper taste like? And the last one I had tasted like a jalapeno, and the one before that tasted like a lemon tree. So they really will vary their taste with whatever they've been eating and their species, how long it's been since they molted. So there's a lot of variation in taste, texture, and the experience of these things. A lot of them are real stickly. Those legs, those spiky legs. And so as we get going here, we're going to be cleaning off some of these insects and pulling off those spiky legs and wings and things that might be really scratchy. Sometimes, like if you're really in a hunger situation and you actually want to eat the big red wasps, they're almost like totally shell. So all you get is this kind of a mouthful of chitin that I'll chew it up, get the little bits of proteins and oils out of there and spit out the chitin. If I really get to where I need to eat a bunch of those, but I'd rather eat something that doesn't have a real tough exoskeleton. So I'm looking for a lot of times the young grasshoppers, the ones that have just molded, the larvae, the tender crickets, and you can usually get a sense if they're molted recently or not by how soft they are.